And what a lovely segue into the next match, which was the women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Representing Raw, Bianca Belair, who taps that nice big booty of hers. Carmella, Queen Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, and our very own Rhea Ripley. If you're talking about nice booties. And then against SmackDown, which was Natalya, the veteran, Shayna Baszler, Toni Storm, who I believe is an Aussie. I'm not sure if she's Aussie or Kiwi. But anyway, Shotzi, and who I'm not quite sure what to make of. And, of course, Boss Time, Sasha Banks. And...
what did you think, Pete? What did you think?
Look, let me go this way. I scored it a 6 out of 10. I think they gave that person I'm not allowed to mention. She started and pinned Carmella very early on while she's trying to get her mask on. So it was a bit like the Owens thing. You know, someone was down a team member straight away.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know they sort of a bit of wow factor or a bit of controversy or a bit of, but I didn't sort of get that.
Why repeat what happened in the first Survivor Series match of the night?
Yeah, it was almost the same thing, you know. Look, I think there was some very, very nice spots. I'm going to probably sound sexist, and I'm not, as you know, but I felt they botched a lot in that match. I think there was a lot of botching. I think the timing was off. And a lot of it, look, to the untrained eye, it looked fine. It didn't look like there was any real issue. And then, you know, it gets down to Bianca Belair versus 4 of them because, you know, there's 4 left and Natalya, Shotzi, Baszler, and Sasha Banks. Then it was Bianca versus 3 and the whole thing. And, you know, Bianca finally wins. Look, I think it was really good for Bianca Belair. 4 versus 1 was probably too much of an odds. It maybe should have come down to maybe at the most 3 versus 1 and, you know, 2 took each other out and then just became 1-on-1 or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I just saw a lot of bad... You know the one thing I'm noticing more than anything in some of the ladies' matches? The talking is just so obvious in the ring now.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's because we've got such better filming these days and it's all high definition and this, but the amount of talking, and with their line there, you can see them like full on talking to her. She's down there and she's telling her something, and like it was just obvious, and the timing was off. And maybe that's the problem with some of these people if they don't work together a lot, but I mean, look, I gave it a 6 out of 10, so by far not the worst rating I've given, but yeah, I don't know.
Look, with the women at the moment in WWE, it's one of the first times in recent history, right? Let's just get you and Anthony to chime in on this. What you think? But you're actually seeing mostly majority of female wrestlers instead of say athletic models that have been trained as wrestlers. So what I say by that, but if you look at Natalya Baszler, Shotzi, right, Liv Morgan, Ripley, they all were first, and Bianca was a sports person, and she come across from being a sports person, was really a fitness model. Yeah. They've got legitimate athletic backgrounds, and they look like female wrestlers. You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And
then you've got others in here that were basically models and that converted across, like, you know, as I call her, not Carmella, Smeller, right? Smeller and that yeah. Right. So yeah, when you look at that now, the talking, I think that's one camera shots. I think cameras, you know, aren't helping them.
No,
it's like when you watch them when they throw a punch. You know, you know, you want to touch anyway. Every time we teach a guy how to throw a girl to throw a punch, you got to touch. The gaps are huge and wide, and the cameras pick up on it. The talking side of things, they pick up on. You know, so that's something that comes down to basic training.
But even when one of them, and I can't remember who it was, like she's up against the turnbuckle, and the other one's, up on the second rope, trying, bashing her head. But she's bashing the top of the turnbuckle. Like that.
Just hit the person. Last night we were teaching at George's.
Yeah.
And they were doing, one of the guys wanted to do a stinger splash, and he was doing it. I said, you need to hit him. I said, the only way you're going to pull this off is by hitting him. You can't not hit him and splash him.
Yeah, no.
It's got to be. It's not a non-contact sport. It's a contact sport we're in. So you've got to hit each other. And when they're starting hitting turnbuckles and stuff like that, it just looks fake.
Yeah.
That's where we get that ugly term, fake. That terrible term. We work a situation. We're not fake. But when you're punching the turnbuckle instead of the person's head, that's fake. You know what I'm saying?
You know better than anybody on this panel. But for me, and I don't know if I'm being an old fogey, but particularly in the women's matches, the Irish whip into the turnbuckles, it is pathetic.
Yep.
They tiptoe in and they don't even, there's nothing.
Yeah, that comes down to training.
But they've got the best trainers, the best facilities, this NXT training centre thing. I mean, they've got everything, and they've got champions all around them. The Irish whips into the turnbuckles are just pathetic.
Well, like I said, that from day one, we always make sure they hit the turnbuckle hard, male or female. Yeah, you got to hit it. We want a big guy. We want to see him move the ring. You got a guy that's 100, 120, 130 kilos. We want him to hit that ring that hard it moves.
I'm trying to remember. I was sitting at ringside commentating with Gene one night, and we had the table up against the ring. We were right on the floor. And for the life of me, I can't think who it was, but somebody whipped someone. The ring actually moved.
Yeah, that's what you're always aiming for when you hit the turnbuckle, make the ring move.
And when you're doing the commentary and that happens, your just natural excitement that happened, comes out in the commentary and all of that sort of thing. And now these guys sit a mile away from the table, the table from the ring. It's not like we used to do, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not enjoying the women's division as much.
No, look,
and I know people are going to say you're old, you're sexist.
No.
I never promoted a show in my entire career that didn't have a women's match on it. So I'm a fan. But we had some good women. You take Sherry Sinatra, who was by far, in my opinion,
Pixie.
The best ladies wrestler we had in Australia in my time. And she would say to the girls, if you can't take it, don't get in the ring with me because I'm going to slap you. And they would come with raw upper body from the slaps and whatever.
Yeah, that's it. That's how the business is.
That's how we've grown up with authentic, for lack of a better word, even though using it in wrestling, but an authentic thing where you go with, okay, you don't go to break anyone's legs or arms, but there's a wee bit there.
Well, that's the working side of it, isn't it? Yeah. That's where they say working. We're not. The idea is not to. I'm going to use that terrible word again. Fake.
Yeah.
It's to work the situation. We still hit each other. We still put locks on. We just don't go to hurt each other.
No, of course not.
We're going. We're still going to. You come back chopped up and bruised up and everything. That's part of the business. That's part of what you do. So. Like when you see them punching turnbuckles or not wanting to hit it, not wanting to run into the turnbuckles or the ropes too hard. It's either all or nothing. If you watch Rhea Ripley, I'll use Rhea for example, she hits the turnbuckle hard. It's not all the women, but there's some of them in there that are sports, that are really sports models.
Yeah.
They really are, sports models that they've converted into wrestlers. And they never loved the business. They never wanted to be in the business. It's all financial to them, right? Yeah. And then they don't have the full love of it. I mean, I'm well and truly past my prime, but I'm still going down there and teaching at George's and that because I love the business.
Yeah.
There's nothing more than
either in or out. I mean, I've been around the professional scene since '89 when I first started promoting and whatever. So, and it's either in your blood or it's not.
Yes.
It really is. It's like when they keep coming back. And sometimes we bag them. We think, look, it's time to retire. It's time to go. But you got to have the respect for these ones that will keep coming back because it is genuinely in the blood.
That's right.
Not a job. It's a lifestyle.
Oh, that's exactly right. And if you don't have that love for it, and you can see by when you, we'll use Lex Luger for an example.
Yeah.
Right? Guy had every tool that you could imagine.
Yeah.
Right? Look, charisma, intelligent guy. But he was never a wrestling fan.
Nah.
So that last little 5% that he needed to get him over the line, we'll say in the levels of a Flair or a Dusty Rhodes, or a
Very Funk or
any of those guys. There's a love for the business that goes beyond being physically gifted.
Yeah, it's your life.
You're into it. You're 100% there.
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference between wrestlers like that when you watch them work, whether they're 100% into it or not.
And the greatest workers ever have been the ones where it's their life. They believe it. They live it. There's a list goes a mile long. I mean, I've been watching for 50 years or more.
Mm.
As a little kid, growing up, I'm watching Waldo Von Erich and all these sorts of guys. And Abdullah in the early days and they lived it.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what made them great and household names. Well in the days before social media and cable TV and internet and all that, yet they were known all around the world.
No, that's right. That's it.
They were, and the Harley Race, touted as one of the two toughest men ever. Him and Haku, the two toughest men ever in the business.
And they hung around for such a long time because they loved the business. It's not because they got
every inch out of it, or you finish and you become a manager, or you become like Mr. Fuji.
Yeah.
Like God love him, he went until he couldn't friggin' walk anymore.
Johnny Valiant was another one, Lou Albano. The list goes on and on, and even people who weren't really a in-ring talent, but you had your Jim Cornettes. And your Jimmy Harts, that they loved the business so much that they took management roles and they were out there and doing the same trips, the same hours, the same terrible car rides as the wrestlers and working for them. So, if you don't love the business, and you can see sometimes when you watch matches, the people who really love wrestling, people who don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just there for the dollar.
I was never physically gifted. I could never have been a wrestler. But I've had 30-something years, and we're still doing this, and we're going to be talking about doing shows again next year and whatever. So my only real way of it was the announcing and the commentating. But
you found your way. Like now, my in-ring stuff is done.
Yeah.
But I'm still now in the background because I don't need to be in front of the crowd.
No.
I love the business.
And in a lot of ways, what you're doing now, and it's going to come out wrong, but I don't mean it like it's going to come out, but is even more important. Because you're bringing through the next generation and you're teaching them what to do, what not to do, how to do. You're molding them, you're sculpting them, and then you go and then you can sit back and watch them perform in front of a crowd.
That's right.
That's still a massive involvement because what's happening as a result of all the training and the work you're doing.
And I'm extremely lucky I'll get the opportunity to
And it's a bit like me, get involved in the booking and some of the stories or whatever. But then on the night when you're working it and you're building the match or you're building the guys, that's your part. You're not physically locking up, but you're contributing to the match or whatever. So, I mean, there are ways, but you got to love it, Yeah,
if you don't love it.
I've retired 4 times and I keep coming back because I just keep missing it.
That's right. That's what it does, I'm in a good place at the moment while I'm doing it. I'm working with George, which is no George, I wouldn't be in wrestling. So, actually, and Candyman, I've got to give him that. He's the one that took me down there. So, if you don't love it, you'll never.
But I think it's like that with anything. I was just talking to you and young Anthony before we came on air about the new job. And I finally found my wheelhouse, and I absolutely love what I'm doing now, my work. I could see me doing this till I retire or they kick me out the door. Or I would Powerball Thursday night. But if I won Powerball, I think I'd still go in and help.
Yeah, why not?
Because I actually love what I'm doing. And I haven't been like that in work for a long, long time.
Well, that's a half the battle.
And no disrespect to where I've been, but that was just the job, But... Yeah, so you got to love it. But anyway, Anthony, sorry, we're two old men just getting all excited here and passionate, and you young ones are sitting there thinking, what the hell are you on about? How did you see this 5-on-5 women's match before we go to the main event?
This, again, typical to the other match. Kind of lost a bit of attention when Dad kept referring to she who should not be named as a particular word that I'm not going to say. But anyway.
I need to find out off air about this. I never knew anything about it, but anyway.
My thing is, did you guys figure the crowd was dead?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. One of the few times I thought either they didn't amp up the WWE dubbing over, or someone forgot to push the button, or there was that, and there was another match where I thought they weren't really into it. Oh, that Royal Rumble thing, or that stupid bloody thing we didn't even talk about. Yeah. I think they were the two, Anthony, that I thought, that they were a bit quiet.
But other than that, I gave it a 5 because it's hard. Like, the way I see the Survivor Series, as well as you see the Rumbles, you see your Triple Threats, and that it's a lot of moving elements.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that you're trying to focus on a certain element where you got 2 or 3 in the background as well. But maybe we get some form of, maybe Bianca's getting another push, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, they're not going to put her over like that 4-on-1 and she wins and not give her a push. Well, they could do anything, but theoretically, you don't do that and then not push them.
Yeah, she's on Raw, isn't she?
Yeah.
Her and Becky Lynch will do some good business.
Could even be her and Liv Morgan. You never know.
I can't see Liv going over. I could be wrong.
I'm not. Yeah, look, she's not grabbing me as nothing against her, and she hasn't had much of a go to some degree. But I don't see her. I certainly don't see her as the face of the women's division.
Not hot enough yet.
No, God.
I'll say that yet. There's potential if they give her a good push and that. But definitely Bianca's got to be Belair.
Bianca's on Raw. So it's Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Becky Lynch. I don't think they got any plans for Flair, for Charlotte. I don't think they got any plans for it. Well, it doesn't look like to me the way it's being booked that there's any plans. They're just going to put one anonymous person in front of the other, where I think Lynch is going to get all the great booking. I don't know. Maybe Banks
in her box a bit or something. I don't know.
Well, Banks has got to be the logical. Yeah,
well, she'd be the logical one over there.
Especially how she lost the match. She got ripped off on being ripped off.
Yeah.
So it makes her look a bit sympathetic to people. Maybe there's some thinking in that. When she lost, how she lost, it keeps Becky as a heel because Bianca's really a face. I don't know. Maybe because really Banks is a heel. Can't see her. She's turned before, but I can't see her turning at the moment. The own locker room hates her. I don't know, mate. It's hard to guess. It's hard to guess with WWE booking. It's hard to guess with WWE.